Welcome back, Saints Nation. We are here on a lovely Monday evening. I'm joined by my good friend Patrick, and we are here for some Rocket League. And also, I believe it's Happy St. Patrick's Day are in order. It's a great holiday to celebrate. Get out there, drink some green beer, but that's not what we're here to talk about, Patrick. We're here to talk about NACE Rocket League. And how are you feeling about it today?
Well, I'm feeling really good. You know what? I'm not going to lie, Wyatt. That would be pretty funny if we came here after having a couple green beers in Castle. But that's not allowed because that would be conduct violation, most definitely, I can
Yes.
imagine. So that is not what we do here. But we are celebrating St. Patty's Day in probably the best other way I could imagine, other than out with friends, here with you casting some Rocket League, my friend. And I noticed we're both wearing a little bit of green, so there you go. We're repping it proud. I know you guys can't see, but I have some green pants on as well, so there you go. But yeah, St. Patty's Day. I'm Patrick Smoke Chambers, and again, I gotta say, I'm very excited. We have St. Clair Green, as we follow the very green theme going on, up against Akron tonight for some NACE Rocket League Saints. 6-0 in the NACE Super Conference, and Akron 3-3. So they're looking to put on a statement despite their very powerful roster of Patty, Bullseye, and 5-Up.
Yeah, they definitely have a stellar roster. 5-Up, the one to point out there, their newest pickup onto the trio, and some past RLCS talent there. But let's take a look at a matchup right now as we look at again Patty, 5-Up, Bullseye. As I mentioned before, 5-Up has had some great runs getting into those like qualifying situations
Yeah.
for some like RLCS majors, but hasn't actually broken through yet, which I could say is the same story right now with our team. RG was just playing on a top 8 team, Team Evo, and they just barely were unable to make it to the Birmingham Major coming to us soon.
Yeah, well, you know what? I mean, for 5-Up, he has a lot of time, only 18 years of age, such a young player in the RL scene, yet it feels like he's been here for a very long time, so he's a very chiseled veteran in his own right, despite being a young whippersnapper comparatively to at least me, as he's 2 years younger than me. But again, I got to say right now, Wyatt, he's been on that Pirates on a Boat roster for a little while. Like you said, broken into top 8 multiple times before. He looks very promising. I've been watching him throughout the RLCS seasons, and he has always looked incredible. Even when on player cams, he always has a strong mental. He's always getting loud, getting hyped up, and even when Pirates aren't necessarily doing all that good, he's still always talking. You always see he's a vocal player, so he's someone definitely to watch out for. In my mind, the star of that roster, 100% without a doubt. But then again, Patty and Bullseye as well, don't slack on these guys. These guys have been absolutely amazing since Tristan, who was the third member of their team, departed. And I remember before I was casting the Colleague Invitational last year. I know that I saw them in the flesh, so got to see them play, and Patty and Bullseye did not disappoint. Those two put on an absolute clinic up until the finals, where of course Northwood were just happened to be there because how are you going to take down Hockey, Lion Blaze, and Zanil at the time, right? I mean, they were just amazing and pretty much going crazy for that entirety of the year. But before, in the times of old for CRL, Akron used to be that monster. Patty and Bullseye, they were a part of that. So, again, don't slack on these guys. They definitely see that St. Clair, with the lineup of Zai, Arju, and Jazzy, they're 6-0. They're definitely the Goliaths right now in the Super Conference, and I can tell you there is nothing they'd want more than to take them down.
Yeah, and before we talk a little bit more about the statistics, let's look at our trio for today. Ladies and gentlemen, your St. Clair Saints green team. It's going to be Arju, it's going to be Sai, and it is going to be our good old friend Jazzy James. I'm really excited to see how these boys are playing, and I mean, coming off of yesterday, they were first. So they came first in the first open for CRL and then first in the last open. And production is just telling me right now we're getting a sub out. Seems like Nico, seems like Sai isn't going to be here. Ladies and gentlemen, sorry to those Sai fans at home, but we are going to be getting one of my good old friends, probably the loudest mouth I've ever met, next to you, Patrick, of course, is our good old friend Tommaso Barrist.
Yeah, so Barrist is going to be making his debut, I believe, on stream for the first time. And that's kind of exciting, but at the same time, it kind of worries me because I don't see them playing with Barrist a whole lot often. Obviously, he's a sub, so yes, obviously off screen. Yeah, I'm sure they play with them and scrim with him and whatnot, but at the same time, he's definitely someone who I'm very intrigued about, who I want to see how he fits into this system. We have Jazzy, who I know is more of an aggressive player as of recently in this semester, really adopting that first man role of chasing up the field, making sure that he's stealing boost when rotating, demoing, looking for bumps to open up for shooting and passing lanes for Arju and, well, Zai, who is not here tonight. And for Barist, I wonder how he's going to fit into that system. What are they going to do? How are they going to kind of adapt around it? I was talking with Arju before we were here tonight, and something I will always remember him talking about is that this team is very adaptable. They can change up anything, and I saw that in my CRL Open for this weekend. I did see them changing around the roles a little bit when they had to, and it still worked. I mean, they ended up winning it, right? So the team, yes, while it is adaptable, you cannot deny they're still playing with a sub, and for that reason, I gotta say it, I think I have Akron being the favorites at least tonight. The Saints, in my opinion, are the underdog coming into this purely because of the fact that we are not playing with our full starting lineup.
Definitely, I agree with you there. I mean, Psy, 2023 CRL World Champion, is definitely a player you want to be on this roster right now for this game. And looking at the numbers, talking about it, we talked about Saints. They've got 2 first places under their belt. They've also got a 3rd and a 4th place there. And then looking at Akron as well, Akron's got a 3rd place, a 5th place, a 13th place, sadly knocked out by Fisher. And then they finished this last one just yesterday in 7th place. So definitely not the surprise results we could hope for out of the team, but definitely something to still say they are a force to be reckoned with.
Absolutely, man. I think even from yesterday, we saw what happens when any of these teams within the top 8 of CRL are on their day. And I'm saying that because Ball State ran an absolute clinic through the lower brackets. I don't know if you guys saw that, but after our stream, of course, we had Ball State force Game 5 on day 1, and it proved why. Because yesterday, they came through, immediately upset Maryville, and then just rolled through any team that was already coming off of a loss through uppers. It was absolutely amazing to watch. And man, you really got to tip your cap to them because they even forced a bracket reset on St. Clair before St. Clair was able to clean up that series. And that's not surprising me, seeing as how St. Clair recently have really struggled for slow starts. I remember I even had Luca, the coach, aka Shuffleverse, talking to me about how that was a problem yesterday as I was interviewing him. But it really seems that, again, teams in the top 8 for CRL, if they are peaking, they can take down anyone. And that's why I love the CRL, is because it's just so competitive. It's so tight, especially with the European invasion. It doesn't necessarily mean that Europe's just kind of just going away and completely taking the reins. No, if anything, from what I've seen from the teams like Northwood, who have won some of the Opens on their bracket resets against Maryville's, from teams like Ball State, it means that it's just making the Americans more hungry than ever. And I think that coming in tonight, again, you're seeing one of those EU rosters in St. Clair Green going up against one of those NA rosters that hasn't really been in the top of their form recently, like Akron. This would be a great moment to really put a statement point on how close this league can be and how close Collegiate Rocket League is if you have 2/3 of that St. Clair starting roster going and Akron just completely wipes the floor with them. To me, that is a statement that it does not matter what happens in Collegiate Rocket League. If any of these top 8 teams are on their peak, they can beat anyone.
Indeed, and we look at it now. Look at we got the Italian stallion there on the far left, my girlfriend Arju, and then we got Jazzy James as well there. You talked about him a little bit more, taking that more aggressive kind of demolition derby kind of role in the entire trio. And then Ferris, he's always there with a smile. I know he can play with these boys well. I know he can play well in general, and I have to agree with you also. Like, we've seen a lot of influence from the EU invasion into NARLCS. But doesn't mean that NA and America can't still pack a punch. The old American rosters, Old Miss, like how they played in SGS against our Saints roster and how they played in CRL as well, they are still here to play and put up a show, and definitely Ball State as well. I mean, enjoying my Sunday looking at the roster popping up onto the stream, seeing that Maryville and Northwood were not in our top 8, like that sent a little bit of a shock to my heart. Had a little bit of a heart attack. Had to go to the hospital quickly, and now I'm okay now. But you know, it's definitely something to say that these top 8 teams are not set in stone. Nobody is safe, and that's the same to go for our Saints. Akron is here to play, and they are here to take them down and make sure that they do not leave this NACE Super Conference undefeated.
Absolutely, I couldn't agree with you more. But just a few moments before we get into the server, Wyatt, I want to start breaking down predictions. I was talking about how right now, St. Clair, they're showing a little bit of a slow start. I think one of their weaknesses is sometimes they can get a little too greedy on some team plays, and sometimes that they're a little bit slow on transition getting back, and that's really where they can start to collapse. I saw Columbia on day one, Columbia College, really kind of exploiting that. I saw so many goals left in transition where we had that third man having to face that 2-on-1 in transition and wasn't able to do it enough. And that's kind of actually something that I have in common with even past Saints Rocket League rosters. It's kind of a little bit of something I've picked up on is the fact that we're not usually very good in transition, rotating back to defense, at least as well as we could be. That means a little bit of a gap right now that Akron, they need to try to exploit to get this job done. And I actually have Akron probably taking the series, if anything. But again, gotta say, I think that St. Clair, they could come away with it, but Akron, they're definitely my favorite. Seeing that it's in this sort of best of 5, I believe. What is your series score? We've broken it all down. We've talked about, what to expect from both teams. Where do you have this one going?
You see, that's a little bit of a head scratcher for me because on one side, we've obviously got the Saints. Strong team themselves, a little bit of a weaker state right now because they have Barrist on there. I think they can definitely take it as we're getting into game right now, but I would put it a very close score. If it's a best of 5, give me a 3-2 going over to the Saints.
Yeah, you know what? Again, I know we are Saints commentators, but for Rocket League, me and you, we're definitely trying to make a name in the RL space as well, so I'm more of a Rocket League guy myself. I'm not gonna lie. I think, given all the circumstances, I have Akron themselves taking it in 5 is my prediction. But for right now, we'll see as it remains to be seen. Patty trying to get things started, but he's going to be challenged out immediately by Jazzy. And this is somewhere where the Saints, they have looked awkward in the past. I have seen double commits on that near post a whole lot, leading to some jarring chances that they have to kind of put up with. So far, it seems like they're holding up strong just to start out.
Yeah, I'm going to be interested to see how Arju and Jazzy decide to work with Barrist here because we normally see Sai on that very aggressive, like, front shooter kind of position, and now it might have to be Arju or Jazzy who take that up unless Barrist can pull it out of the back of his pocket to be a star-stunning shooter himself, but I'll be wait to be proven otherwise as we're still only a little bit into this game right now. Bullseye's got control of the ball into the air. A great 50 there from Arju to get it out of his control, leaving it to Barrist. Doesn't find that second tap though, and it's still on the side of Akron. They gotta push it out now. 5 up is up to it, finds it past one, starts to find another, but his teammate is there to try and help him out, but gets demoed out, and Barrist is not gonna pass it all the way down to James.
Yeah, I think right now what I'm watching is Akron. They're just sort of trying to feel out this midfield control. 5 up, he has a reset. Alexis try to go for the wave dash and pop it over, but it's not going to fool Bears, standing strong in defense. Jazzy, he's just going to dive a little bit, and because of this net should be open. Never mind. Barrist cutting through the defensive rotation, and now Arju, he's going to be able to dump this one clear. St. Clair, survive for now.
Barrist up to it, gets a great first touch. He's going to take that 100 out as well. And now Jazzy has the follow-up, a little bit of an open net there. It looks like he has a shot, and he has the goal! Arju, the Italian stallion, opens up the board for St. Clair Green.
And you know what? One thing I will always pride this St. Clair roster on, no matter if they have their full starting lineup in or not, is that they are so good when it comes to follow-up offense. Follow-up shots are some of the biggest chances that they score on, and it really just shows right there that even if you save the first attempt, you always have to keep your head on a swivel in defense against the St. Clair Green roster.
You cannot let up for a single minute because St. Clair will come back to bite, and it looked like 5 up was trying to bite a little bit right there. Tried to put a shot on net, but was just a little off. Now Patty's up to it, finds it out the back, and 5 up with a redemption shot and goal finds it. A great assist there from Patty.
Well, it's a great job from Patty using the flip to just gain even more speed on the ball and sets up for a great pass off the backboard. I believe it was Arju just not able to get up to it quite in time. And 5 up is just lurking down below. He wasn't bumped out of that shooting position. He lurks in behind the defense, and he really had a clean gap. This one should be quite open as well. It was actually a great job by 5 up to try to secure the double maybe, but it seems like Arju was just able to get back in time. He commits though, and right now him and Barrist are both on 0. Jazzy has to come through to clean things up, but St. Clair, they're not out of the thick of it yet. Backboard pass is going to be cleaned up by Arju for now, but the redirects come in, the demos, how long can St. Clair hold their feet in?
You know, what I'm loving by Akron so far is they're showing a lot of aggression early on, and I want that to continue. I want them to force the Saints to play a little more awkward, to play to a little bit more unorthodox positions where they haven't seen themselves a lot, because not a lot of the teams that I've seen St. Clair go up against in this NACE Super Conference have been too aggressive. A lot of them have been more so focused on just getting the ball into the net, which is a great formula in itself, but when you have great demolition people on your team that can get people out of the entire game for a couple of seconds, it is a great way to get some goals on the scoreboard.
Yeah, you know what, I could not agree with you more. Demos are such an important thing in Rocket League to really sort of take advantage of, and that's something we've been seeing Jazzy doing a lot of recently on the Saints roster. I wonder if St. Clair, you know, they can maybe start to find some of that aggressive backline destruction to sort of fuel their attacks even more. Because so far, I'm not going to lie, I haven't seen Akron in very awkward defensive positions. Bullseye going to be able to get a demo, and as I said that, it was actually a save off the backboard that I believe 5UP had to force out, but right now, Arju on ball, reset, he's going to elect to use it for the musty. It might almost get through, but Bullseye, key on the backboard defense as Akron clear out.
Had to be a full team effort to stop him there, and now it looks like Barris is back onto it, but Patty makes a great save. Looks like Arju had a little bit of a touch there, and now he's going to get demoed out. Jazzy has control of the ball, gets it over 5UP, but now he's going to take it back because he has the boost, and Patty has to leave it to try and get something, but Barris is going to steal the boost off of their side. Bullseye has a good touch for control, but Jazzy just gets it right over him. Looks for the follow-up to set it up for a teammate, but Patty is just there to smack it out of the field. 10 seconds countdown now. Arju's going to pass it out to Jazzy. Going to try to get another touch onto it. He does. Pops it down, but Jazzy is just too late to it. Now 5UP has control. He's keeping it up. It's a one-on-one scenario. Can it go to overtime? Patty has control. Looks like it's going to go down, and we will see an OT in game one.
Well, you know what? This might be a very common occurrence because from what I've seen, both teams, they're looking like they're very much in a punch-counter-punch lane, but no one can land the knockout blow because there's been a lot of midfield gaps, but no one has been able to take control just yet. Bears looking to see if he can try to find some control with it right now. Should have a pretty good 50, and he does just that. Jazzy needs to try to beat to the ball, though, and it's not going to happen. Arju, the midfield clearance, but he's just trying to see if he can find someone to continue the play. Bears just trying to pop out, but the Saints, they got to focus on defense. Arju, he's in a little bit of a rough place right there, but turns out that just parking the car, hitting the brakes is actually going to be what's most effective.
Bullseye trying to create something as well, but Arju has control, is driven in the air, tries to find it over another, but Patty is there to stop him. Two defenders commit to it to try and stop Jazzy, and now 5UP is in the air with it, finds it off the backboard, tries to find a double tap, but it's too low. Patty's a little bit of control, but no, Jazzy's gonna bang it out, and now Bullseye has to sweep in from the left side to try and keep it in their half. 5UP finds a great demo, looking for a bump onto Barris, but he's able to find it over to the corner where Jazzy has it, but no, a great pinch out from 5UP.
Yeah, again, you know what? Plays like that, while they don't necessarily end up being goal heavy, they will make the defense have to spread and use boost to get to them. Obviously, you can't let a ball like that go uncontested. And what you're hoping to do there is you can maybe get some boost steals, force defenses into certain areas, and it'll line up for shots. We still are seeing the result of this pinch that's still coming through. It's allowed Akron to continue this attack over and over again. St. Clair, they need to try to recover. It seems like they've done finally just that. But maybe just some chance for breathing room is all they need to at least get situated again on another defense. Who knows? But right now, they seem to be clearing out well. Barris, he has a good start on the attack right now. And this should let down for Arju pretty well. Alex to flip into the fake, and now Jazzy trying to see if he can find a center, but to no avail.
Look, it's still coming back on the side of the Saints. Jazzy up into the air, has the first touch, finds the second touch, looking for it off the backboard, but 5UP is there to deny it. Now Arju has control, but he's there again. 5UP, the man, to get it out of his control. Bears try to find it on their side yet again, but Bullseye is on the mark. Finds a good touch onto it, but now Arju on zero boost has to try and get it back out. Patty's onto it now. Tries to find it in front of the net for 5UP. A little bit of an open net there, and it looks like it was a little bit of a glitch there from our perspective. I mean, call me old if I can't be seeing that right, but was that not a save from Jazzy?
No! Look at that! It was Patty, actually. He overcut. He dunked Jazzy. It was a 1-2-1 play. I believe it was 5UP with the initial pressure, and Patty came down from the heavens. He knew that Jazzy was going to force a touch high to clear, and he actually ended up dunking him immediately. It was so weird just because the POV that we were on, we didn't see it. It was just slightly above the camera angle, so it looked like it was almost like a ghost touch, but that wasn't the case at all. Looking at the replay, that was Patty, who was just on an absolute mission and dunked Jazzy to find the game-winning goal. Beautiful job there from Akron. They are able to take game one off of St. Clair.
I don't even know if the defender expected that. Might have thought it was a glitch as well, ghost hit, something like that. But no, I agree with you. Like, that was a great attempt out from Patty. He came out from the heavens, soaring down to dunk Jazzy on the defense, and then they've got their first game. Akron have taken the lead now, and this has put Saints on the back foot. But fear not, Saints fans at home. I hear that our man, Cy, is back on the pitch, and he's going to be playing for the team now in our second game.
Well, you know what I will say is, despite the fact that St. Clair ended up losing that match, shoutouts to Barris, because he was actually able to, in my eyes, hold his own. I was seeing him on the defense. He didn't look like he was really struggling or creating any weird touches that Arju or Jazzy had to clean up with. And on the other side, he was still containing midfield control and finding his outlet passes. He wasn't able to find any shots on target. But that being said, that isn't necessarily the name of the game. You're not necessarily having to score to be good in Rocket League. There are other elements that come into it. And me personally, looking through that gameplay, I think he definitely held his own.
Yeah, he was definitely a great part of the link there that they had between the three of them. He put up a great fight, and it looks like Patty and Akron just put up an even better fight. They were great at attacking and keeping pressure on. I mean, we mentioned that great pinch out from 5-up just to keep it on their side. Kept the fight alive for just a little bit longer to keep it on the Saints' end. But there were still a lot of opportunities I saw out from players like Bullseye, who had open nets to shoot on and defenders with zero boost, but just couldn't find the right shot. Had it a little bit high off the crossbar or a little bit to the left or the right, and it's crucial moments like those where you cannot be missing. It's opportunities that you can take and run for the hills, but you may be running the wrong way if you miss it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, that's just sort of the thing that Akron, they need to take advantage of. They can't let slip. And especially now with this full Saints lineup coming in, it's just going to get harder for them. But they have the luxury of at least taking that first game off of them. So they have a buffer as the squishy save from Arju comes through. 15 seconds in. And right now, St. Clair, they're still on the back foot.
At full capacity now, they've got their third man back. Sai is on the pitch, and he's ready to put on a show. Arju has the first touch, tries to follow it up, but it looks like 5-up had a great touch there. Now Patty's going to pass it right back to him. Has a bang off the backboard, but Sai is ready for it, follows it. And now Bullseye's got a little bit of control down to Jazzy in the midfield, tries to pass it out. Patty there yet again to keep it on their side, and now both defenders are on zero. Sai has to try and find it over 5-up, does a little bit, but Bullseye is back onto it in front of the net now, and Jazzy trying to get it out. These defenders are not finding any juice to give them a little bit of oomph to get it out of their end.
Yeah, you know what, I was going to say, Akron, they have to capitalize off this. This all started with, again, a near post sort of, not necessarily a double commit, but a near post awkward area between Zai and Jazzy. We saw them, they were on zero there, and the shots started ringing through. Zai then rotates grab boost because Arju comes back again, but it doesn't necessarily matter, just the follow-up shots are just too quick. Patty sinks one in as Akron, they take their lead in game two.
Zai has a little bit of control in midfield, actually doesn't get a good touch onto that, leaving it for Bullseye. Now Patty's going to keep it up yet again. The demo coming out onto one of the defenders for St. Clair now. Looks like Jazzy's going to follow it up, has the first touch, has a little bit of boost to play with the second one, but realizes not to go for it and gives it over to Sai. Now Jazzy has it, tries to find another touch onto it. Now Sai has it, and they're just trying to keep it in their side, but 5-up is not going to have it. Passes it all the way down to Patty, gets a double tap off the back, but doesn't find the board. And now it looks like St. Clair are mounting for a full frontal attack.
Well, you know what, it was getting a little bit dangerous, but right now the team play could come through. Zai had a rocket on net, but it was an even better save from the Akron defense. And now Akron, they're not out of the thick of it yet, but they definitely had a highlight save there to work off of. The dunks are still coming in though. Patty's on zero, he needs help, and Bullseye will be his healing remedy for now. Pinch comes off the corner, but St. Clair, Jazzy, Arju, they're still trying to link up. He can try to have the drift. It's maybe a short play to Zai, but it doesn't work out. It's picked out by 5-up. But again, it shouldn't result in an Akron attack because they just don't have the boost numbers to commit to it right now. Arju reset. It's going to be able to get under Akron, and now Bullseye, he's going to have that touch the sidewall where Arju's going to be lurking with open arms. Zai try to find some pressure at all, but on 0 again, this seems like another attack where St. Clair, they just have to kind of peel off.
Yeah, and they're always leaving a single defender to amount to a great attack from Akron. It's definitely not good numbers in their favor. Saints, we love to see them. They're so aggressive on their attacks, but then it's moments like that where Patty almost gets it onto the net and Jazzy has to dive for that crucial hero save. And it's moments like those where we see some bigger teams like Maryville and Northwell are able to capitalize on it, and it looks like Akron is capitalizing on it right now. I mean, they've taken the first game and they've taken the lead into this second one, and while Saints may not be scrambling because we've still got a best of 5 on our hands here, they still are definitely getting into that state where they got to lock in now. They got to get their pedal to the metal, and they've got to start getting something on the board. Looks like Sai is going to try to start it up for them, taking it from the corner, trying to find someone, but no, 5-Up is there. Jazzy's there to help him out as well. Arju might be a bit too close in this situation, but just finds it over one, but 5-Up is there yet again, and I feel like 5-Up has been in my vocabulary the entire match because he's been everywhere and anywhere across this entire map.
Yeah, I mean, as the pass comes through, oh my gosh. I mean, I thought, honestly, that was going to be left to Bullseye, but 5-Up comes through like a rocket, and he's going to be able to try to cut through this rotation. Bullseye sold, but he has it off the ceiling, looking for a pass. There's the shot, but it's easily saved up by Zai. As right now, St. Clair, they look like they're just barely getting by the skin of their teeth on every defense. Akron, they're ramping it up. They're finding these bumps on St. Clair in the back line. I've seen a number of times where Saints defenders look awkward in the post, and again, Akron, they just need to force touches to drain time, drain boost, keep St. Clair low and from creating any hero plays, because 39 seconds to go. As Akron, you can just afford to kind of park the bus here and just wait. Hold it out on defense, because that's what you've been able to do so far all game. What's 30 more seconds going to hurt you?
Definitely. Saints have been soaring too high on the aggression, and it's left them to fall short on the defense. Now Patty's going to have a great shot off the backboard, tries to find something. Arju is going to pass it into the mid. Don't know if that was planned or not, but now Sai has it. Tries to find it over one. 10 seconds counting down. Arju has it, has 100 boost to play with as well. Looks like Bullseye beats him, and 5-Up is going to beat the last one. Now Jazzy has it. Going to try to keep it up to find something for Arju. Finds a great flick up, but 5-Up finds it over him and is just going to end it. Now 2-up for Akron so far, and a great way to do it. And I mean, we talked about 5-Up. Had the most shots out of anybody on that team, had some great saves as well, some great plays everywhere around the entire pitch, and just showing to everyone, he may have been 2024 RLCS talent, but he is still here to play in his prime.
Well, you know what I mean? I would say that I'd be surprised to see St. Clair down 0-2, but judging from what I've seen this past CRL Open, seeing the Saints down 0-2 in best of fives is something that I've just kind of gotten used to at this point, and somehow they always end up being able to reverse sweep, but have they bitten off a little more than they can chew, letting Akron go up 2-0? Sure, they're 3-3 in NACE Super Conference, but I think this just kind of proves my point from what I said earlier. On their day, anyone in that top 8 can beat anyone is my belief, and right now I'm seeing the very fruits of Akron's labors as they are now on match series points. And I gotta say, Wyatt, right now, you know, I know we don't have that Chris logo there, but yeah, Saints, you gotta lock in again. It's a common reoccurrence that we're seeing these slow starts from St. Clair, but will they be able to weather the storm and cause a reverse sweep as they have so many times before recently, or is Akron going to be able to put the final nail in the coffin? All this coming to you right here in game number 3. Lose, and that's all she wrote for St. Clair.
I've definitely seen this start out a lot from the Saints. I mean, casting their game against West Virginia, it was the exact same start. They were down 2, but they came back with the reverse sweep. I think it's just something with Saints. This team loves to go down 2 games and then come right back up, but 5-Up is not going to have the reverse sweep today. He's going to open it up, and he's going to get the first goal on the board for Akron, beating out Sai and Jazzy, who were left there, and Arju just nowhere to be found.
Yeah, you know what? No one was back post there or on the backboard, so that shot is going to be very hard to stop. It's just unfortunate how the defensive rotation worked out for St. Clair, but right now, they do not have time to kind of sulk over that. You got to get right back into this one because Akron, they're looking to gain their safety net of 2, possibly Patty. Trying to see if he can force a 50 out of the way, and it's actually a very good one. It leaves 5 up now, who at least has Zai to force his flick, but playing in the corner, 5 up's done a great job of at least trying to maintain possession. This one should be waterfalling down the pre-jump. Can it be found out? No! Jazzy almost had the pre-flip as the ball was going to waterfall down, but he just couldn't quite put it in. And now, Patty on transition. I've said it before, this is where Saints, they've been hurting on this a couple of times, but it seems like as of right now, they are currently trying to deal with it. It's a decent bump. Jazzy, does he have enough to get up to it? Yes, he does. And now looks for Arju down in the post. A flip will be able to force the 50, but St. Clair is looking a little bit ropey right now.
Even on their hero plays, they cannot come through. Jazzy had a great pre-flip there, but just didn't get it right on target. And now they're still down 1 goal, same score that we saw last game.
Oh my God.
Hopefully looking to change it. Oh my God, what an absolute stellar chain reaction there from the Saints, trying to go 1, 2, and 3 straight in the net, but it was blocked out yet again from Akron, and Sai trying to put it on the net himself, leaving it all to one man. But no, Akron stand tall as a great big wall that St. Clair have not been able to soar over yet.
And you know what? The problem is Patty. Again, we're seeing St. Clair put on shots, but Patty was the one on the backboard who stopped that 1-2-3 team play. Patty was the one on the backboard who stopped that Zai double flip reset. The man has been a defensive menace so far this game and is keeping Akron in it. I mean, if you can't score off of those chances, what is going to fall for you? We see it again. They're meeting them every time shots go down. Yes, they aren't stopping plays from developing from St. Clair, but they're always there at the key moments just to contest the shot enough.
Just goes to show that you may be from EU, but that doesn't mean you're going to win games here. Akron came to play, and they definitely got the score to settle that debate. Arju's got it now, trying to find it off of something, but no, he's beat. Now Patty has it, looking for the double tap, and he gets it off of a beautiful pass over from his teammate Bullseye.
You know what? This is just kind of a story of Akron. You know, it might be a little bit lucky, but they take a little bit of jam here and there. It might be a jammy goal. You take jam in NACE Super Conference whenever you can get it. And for Patty, you know what? Sometimes Jazzy, it was almost like he was just calculated, you know? That's just all it needed to be. But right now, Akron, I think we're just kind of seeing St. Clair. They're definitely looking a little bit rusty. Something doesn't look quite right with them right now. And it's just showing. I mean, they just don't look like themselves. And Akron, all, you know, power to them. They're completely taking advantage of this. This is great stuff that I'm seeing from Akron. Doubles and demos coming through. They're trying to see if they can open up anything in offense for St. Clair. The follow-up shot, it's been so good, but just barely off the backboard. Again, it's a great pass. Arju, can he sink this one? Yes, he finally does. Gives St. Clair some signs of life, but with 1:27 left, they don't have a lot of time to find another response and force OT.
You know, if my numbers are right, Akron so far throughout the series has scored 5 goals. St. Clair Saints just scored their 2nd.
Yeah.
That is something that I thought I would never say trying to cast this game. Knowing how well our Saints are, and they almost found another one there to add to their score, but it just goes to show, like you were saying, they found themselves in a little bit of an awkward opportunity.
My God!
But my, Sai finds it from the wall, off of the ceiling. Another touch, right past Bullseye, and the double touch ties it up now. Pat, I see your hands are on your eyes right now. What do you have to say about that?
Well, you know what, Akron, they've looked so good defensively off the backboard, but lapse in judgment, Zai, you know what, sometimes the shooter is the better player, and in this scenario, Zai just that. I mean, finds the opening. It's so hard to do, but with 59 seconds left to go, we can't really even cover the goal all that much because we need to get right back into this. I mean, next goal potentially for Akron, it could seal it right now with only 50 remaining. St. Clair, they have momentum, but how long can they stay good on defense? We've seen it. They haven't looked all that well, but right now, they have all the offense in the world. The attempted ground pinch from Zai is going to get canceled out. Arju was probably looking at, he was going to think it was going to be a 50, but it didn't happen. Can maybe he find something off the backboard? No, he is nothing. So he has to just rotate, maybe pick up that mid boost, but all of a sudden 5 up, he has a reset, they got to do something, and Zai, the man up to it, will be able to meet him for the challenge. 20 seconds to go though, and Akron they're still on the attack.
The entire Akron roster has been on point, and was Jazzy's going to find a great save there. Just hasn't been enough to amount to any games resulting in their side. Akron have taken the 2, and they're looking to take the 3rd now, still keeping the pressure on the Saints side. Arju's going to keep it up now, going to try to find Jazzy down there. Doesn't find him directly, but finds it to Arju. But Patty is up there. Now 5 Up has the opportunity, but no, denied out from Sai. Jazzy has it up. Looks like it's coming back on the side of the Saints. Looks like a defender was there to stop the halt, and now 5 Up is in the air, probably looking to drop this down to an overtime. Sai has it.
Want to keep it
out of Jazzy, up into the air. Finds another touch over Patty, but 5 Up is there in the air, and Jazzy is there. Now the Saints have decided to lock in and keep the aggression onto their side. Patty's going to flip it up, and now it's back over to the Saints. This ball is not dropped for some time now, but it looks like it is now, and we have overtime. Game decider. Will Akron go 3-0?
You know, I was watching Jazzy bring it over to the sidewall on 17 boost, and I was like, dude, both your teammates are on 0 right now. I don't know if you want to keep this one up, because you know, Akron, they were in full swing, but they were able to find it, at least the grounding play for now. St. Clair, they got to be careful, though. They concede one more time, and that's their series. They have one heck of a mountain to climb, but this is a great job at the drop-down pass, potentially. Shot comes through, but again, it's Patty off the backboard for the 3rd time, stopping the Saints from finding any success.
Bullseye finding it over 1. Now keeping on to the ball. Looks like he's found another touch, but Patty was there. Looks like they didn't communicate too well because they both double committed for it. But Arju is just going to get demoed out in the midfield. Respawning now. Jazzy has control, taking it up. Finds the first touch. Looking to find the dunk onto Patty. He does. A great 50 out from him. Now Arju has it up into the air. Looking to find another touch onto him. He does, but does not find the goal. And Jazzy is there to recover.
They just have to play a lot very patiently right now. Akron does. Is 5 Up. He's going to have the mid boost, and that's very key. On a slow play of his own right now. Has a reset. Can elect to try to go for a pass, but Arju, he beats him on the game high. It's a great job of just reading it off the sidewall from Zion. It's going to set up from Jazzy. Jazzy now has to work this corner as best he can, but the 50s are going to come through, and all of a sudden, he dumps off possession. Should be clear from Akron, and it is just that side. First one to the ball, but it's going to be 5 Up to challenge. It's been all the time. Akron, they're doing such a good job of limiting these free hits for St. Clair in the midfield. But Jazzy, he has the beat currently. Flip in hand. Who's going to be the one to take the shot, though? Arju, he's around 1, a pass mid, but no one has boost, Wyatt. They're all drained, and you got to watch out on transition. This is where St. Clair has struggled. The demo comes downfield for Bullseye. Pass mid. Who's going to stop it? I believe it was Jazzy who just got up in time.
It was indeed, but now Patty has it back over to 5 Up, down to Bullseye, tries to find him, but Sai is there to cut it off. Now Arju and Jazzy are back on the defense, 0 boost yet again. Now Sai is there as well, doesn't have anything in the tank. Everybody is dry out now, and they're trying to get it out of their side. Bullseye is there on a full tank yet again. Now he's going to back off and leave the rest of his team. No, he's not. He's going to stay there. He's going to keep it up into there, trying to find it in the front, but no. Arju finds a little bit of boost to get it out. Now he's going to bang it out all the way down to Jazzy, but he doesn't have anything yet. He does still find it past Bullseye, and it's found on the Akron side, but it's coming swiftly back over to the St. Clair Saints green side.
They have to be so careful right now. Any sort of lapse in judgment on defense, and that's going to be it for St. Clair. Remember, they still have to win 3 in a row. And right now, you can definitely think fatigue. It might be setting in. I thought Arju had a great attempt there on net, but I believe Bullseye was the one with the save. Zai cutting out that pass midfield. That's crucial, but Bullseye, he's all over this ball. And now the flip comes through from Jazzy, but it's set up. Arju has the bang. It's Jazzy. He needs to clear right now or look for the clearance. Zai will be able to help him with that, but the demo comes through. St. Clair, you need a touch to stall, and that's huge from Arju. It gives Jazzy time now to grab boost and relocate. Now, because of that, he's up on the attack. No shot comes in, though. St. Clair, they're knocking on the door, but how long can Akron hold up for?
They've been holding up so far. 3 minutes and 30 now on the clock.
It's big.
Patty's going to try and close it out, but doesn't find Sai. Finds the demo, though. Great work from him out there. And now it's back onto the Akron side. 5 Up has a little bit of control, but Jazzy's going to get him out. And Arju trying to fly in. Doesn't find anything. Now it's back over to Sai, finds one touch, but Patty is there to recover. Now Jazzy's going to take it down in the mid to Sai, going to try to find it past Bullseye, finds an early flip onto there, finds another one. Jazzy for the backflip, tries to find it in the net, and doesn't get anything yet. Five with a great missile down the pitch. And your St. Clair Saints green team are clipped of their wings. 3-0 going down to Akron.
Well, it's just unfortunate Zai just couldn't get the speed flip over to clear in time. In Akron, they take it in sweeping fashion. Again, you know what? There was just something that looked off about St. Clair this series. I had them obviously losing because of the fact that we knew that the sub was going to have to be in place. But at the same time, even when Zai came back, they just weren't clicking, man. It looked like there were some times where they just seemingly looked awkward or didn't look like how they have in the past. In Akron at the same time, tip your cap to them, because they were taking full advantage of these mistakes that St. Clair were making. There were some times where I saw some double commits, obviously, on the near post. I saw that a lot in the overtime. Akron, they would turn these into really tough offenses to kind of just poke and prod at St. Clair. And yes, while they weren't successful, because the counterattack was what ultimately cost St. Clair, which is some weakness that I had been talking about earlier, the thing that these attacks, when you have to save shots over and over again, it just builds fatigue. It does. As Rocket League players ourselves, we can definitely say that. And on a level like this, you can imagine it just grows on a scale that is exponential to what we are used to having to deal with, Wyatt. So, again, time will eventually be the undoing of St. Clair. They almost have their attack, but I had a feeling on transition, seeing Zai there having to deal with that shot from 5 up, it was just a little too fast. That was definitely going to be the one to seal the deal. But all I can say is shout out to Akron. They move up now to 4-3 as our Saints now are 6-1. But like I said before, I had Akron taking this one, and they proved me right.
Yeah, I'm going to get some game stats up now. The 3-2 on screen, 3-0 by my books from Akron. And I mean, definitely not something that St. Clair are going to take really to heart. They're 6-1.
They're still 6-1.
Almost undefeated. They've definitely qualified for the single elimination playoff bracket to come. And I mean, you know, two things that I have to point out on the side of Akron that was definitely working for them was one was 5 up, because he was all over the field. He was aggressive, he was defensive, he was assistive, he was everywhere, helping out his teammates, making plays of his own, and being able to stop plays that the Saints were trying to bring up. And even Patty as well. We saw some great saves out from him. We saw an amazing dunk that we thought was just a ghost touch out from Jazzy, but it worked in his favor. He got a great dunk there. And the second thing that I have to mention was the demos. I mentioned it early on, and I analyzed that is the biggest thing that Akron were bringing to this table, is that they were being aggressive. There were so many opportunities where Arju was setting up in the midfield to get ready from a pass from Jazzy or Sai from the left or the right, and then all of a sudden you just hear boom. He's gone. He's done. That play is finished. That play is cut off. There's no opportunity there for a goal on the side of the Saints. And Akron analyzed that beautifully, figuring out that the Saints like to take their time on that. They like to take a lot more of that momentum and moments to set up the play and leave opportunities for someone to slip in with enough speed and enough boost to get them out of the entire game.
Yeah, you know what? The thing is, for Akron, I gotta say it, you know, Patty is definitely my MVP of this series, despite 5 up being literally everywhere all at once. I like to highlight the fact that Patty had the dunk that ended game 1. He had that double dunk on Jazzy again in a different game. I believe it was game 2, and then immediately with those 2 saves as well, one off the double flip reset from Zai, one off the 1-2-3 team passing pre-jump play from St. Clair. He was still on the backboard holding up strong. He had the St. Patty's Day buff. It was just simply in the mix. It was going to happen. And I'm not going to lie, that was kind of my trump card for why I had that going down. But shout out to Patty, shout out to Akron for making it work out and, well, making me look like I'm a lot smarter than I look on here. But I think that, you know what, again, St. Clair, they will bounce back. I'm definitely not afraid for them. Again, 6-1, nothing to really worry about. But what I will say is what we have to worry about, why our show's ending. It's almost over. Oh, but we cannot leave without giving thanks to everybody who showed up here today. Thank you, Akron, for showing up, competing at your highest level. Thank you to the St. Clair players on the Rocket League team for showing up and making sure that we had a competitive series despite it being a sweep. Not usual, but you know what? Entertaining for me and Wyatt, because that's not usually something we're ending up seeing. Thank you, Wyatt, for showing up and casting with me, as always, and thank you to everybody in the back. I believe we have Adrian, Matthias, and Wallace as well. So thank you guys for showing up and doing your thing. You're the reason why we are able to put on shows like this, and we cannot be more thankful for the viewers at home watching as well. Wyatt, any further thoughts before we move on?
No, other than to thank our sponsors. We've got Alienware, we've got Subway, we've got Tim Hortons, and we've got the St. Clair Saints Alumni Association. I don't know if I'm forgetting anybody
and the
there.
SRC.
And the SRC. Apologies. I mean, I'm an SRC employee. I should know that myself.
Alienware.
I hope my boss isn't watching this, but thank you to all of our sponsors out there. This would also not be possible without you. Our lovely space that we get to cast in. This beautiful desk, as old and as rigid and as plastic as it may be, is still great to sit here with my best friend, best caster. And thank you again, ladies and gentlemen at home, for tuning in. Catch us tomorrow. We've got Overwatch, and then cast us later in the week. We've also got League, and then we've got some Valorant as well. I think you and me will be back to cast that, Patrick. So stay tuned. Have a great night. Have a great St. Patrick's night, and I hope you guys all see you next time.